Thank you for tuning in to Blue Dog Radio. This is your host, The Wag. I was just reading up on my George Orwell and reading one of his wonderfully abysmal novels. He certainly paints a pretty accurate picture of the city of London. I lived there for a little over a year. He speaks of a very depressing, dingy, lonely place where life is sort of a living death of hopelessness and despair. I was walking the streets after reading that in the nice, cool evening air that is Florida in the early summer. And I was clearing my head and I was thinking on this, and I began to think of the Lord God Almighty himself. I thought, it's a question that I hate to ask, but it's always in the back of my mind. Why did God allow that to happen? I know that most of you all probably don't know me personally, but long story short, I made a terrible mistake when I went to London, and I had one of the most miserable periods in my life. It took me years to really recover psychologically. And I sometimes ask, why did God allow that to happen if he's even up there? Yeah, that's right, that lurking agnosticism that comes up on me from time to time. If he's even up there, why did he allow that to happen? God gives us free will. He allowed me to go to London because I wanted to go there. I tried to convince myself that God was bringing me to London, but God wasn't bringing me to London. In fact, through many ways he warned me, including through the works of Orwell. I read 1984. I knew what a depressing, abysmal, hopeless place that is over there. You can't get a job over there. You can't accomplish anything. The only people who have success are people who are born into it, who have the right connections and stuff. If you don't have that, you're screwed. Well, I thought about it, and I finally came to the realization that God never abandoned me. He was with me all along, and he was watching me make these terrible decisions, which he warned me about, but I didn't listen to him. I made these terrible decisions, and I had to live with the consequences of my actions. But he was there with me all that time. And when I prayed, he did hear my prayers. He didn't give me the answer I wanted, but he did hear my prayers. Recently, TJ, the amazing atheist, did a video about how pointless he thinks prayer is. He seems to think that because if you don't get the answer you want from God, that must mean God doesn't exist. No, God is not going to give you the answer to your prayers, because otherwise God is just a trick. He's just a rabbit you pull out of a hat. Here, God, do your trick. Answer my prayer. God doesn't work that way, but he does hear your prayers. And he heard my prayers over there. And he did give me the strength to pull through the worst of times. And he, by his grace, brought me back to this wonderful place that I took for granted growing up. And I realize now that being born in America, growing up in America, is truly a blessing. I don't know what we did in America to deserve such blessings from the Almighty, but we certainly have them. And we should make the most of them to try to do good for the world. I don't mean doing good for the world by blowing things up, and I don't even mean through government foreign aid. Through our prosperity, we can give a little something to worthy charities that help fight poverty and disease, like Doctors Without Borders. I guess my whole point of this whole video is that first, as Americans, we need to count our blessings, and then we need to make the most of them. Thank you for tuning in to Blue Dog Radio. This is the Wag signing off.
Throughout America's adventure in free government, our basic purposes have been to keep the peace, to foster progress in human achievement, and to enhance liberty, dignity, and integrity among peoples and among nations.